conflicts. Like the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anyone need a bottle of water? Some nice cold ones here.
Oh, is there?
You want one?
I can get it.
Right there, that cooler in the kitchen.
Anybody else?
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay. So this is a special meeting to discuss Ready Project and lights on the Riverwalk. Roll call. Trustee Caputo. Here. Trustee Fulmer. Here. Trustee Demo. Here. Trustee Campany. Mayor Jarvis here. It's all yours.
All right, so we wanted to talk about the lights for the Riverwalk. So originally, we looked at pedestal lights for all of the docks. So the ones that are on the upper James Street docks, those pole lights. So we looked at having those on the upper Street floaters and the lower James Street docks. But given the height of them and the structural needs on aluminum docks, it would be a good fit. So we have those extra lights. There's six lights, same as what's on Upper Street. And today we're talking about possibly installing those along the Riverwalk. I know that's come up a few times that people are interested in having lights along the Riverwalk, so maybe a good opportunity to use them, and so you have a completely lit path. So we have the, did you hand this up to everyone, Tim?
Yep. So this is a breakdown. We've shown at the top the additional work summary. So as Gregor mentioned, the bollard, so to convert the original pole lights to bollard lights, we show, basically we broke out about the new bollard lights for the new dock. That'd be up on Upper James and Lower James, and then
Is finger docks Lower James?
Upper James.
So the existing finger docks. So
So the bollard lights that are going to be on the new floaters are also going to be on the
The-
old.
correct. That's the other additional work.
Okay, I get it.
So right now, I think you have a pole or
Two poles.
on the existing finger docks, floating finger docks.
Okay.
Those would be replaced with bollard lights.
5 bollard lights, so we replaced the 2 with
We've
5
got
bollards.
the plan, the electrical plan, to show you what is proposed. And bollard lights, they're
Will be in the middle, not
Yeah.
on the finger.
Correct.
they're
Okay.
short, just so everyone knows. Does
They're
everyone
about
know what a bollard light is? No, there's,
This is
so
a
you
plan
see bollards,
for
yellow
the
lights
lights.
to protect something.
Okay.
They're about the same height as what those are.
Okay.
They're black, just have a light at the top.
Have
Fairly.
you ever gone down to Syracuse past another side of the lake? No, I was going to say, if you go to the lake, if you look to the left,
Picture of
there's a
bollard
marina
light.
that has
Pretty
them.
easy.
Yeah.
Kingdoms that has them.
Got it on.
Don't leave town.
Let's
Why
see.
the hell not? Get out while you can.
So we're gonna have 2 bollard lights on the new floaters, right?
5 on the new, I'm sorry, there's gonna be 5 plus the new floaters, new and the existing finger would be, let me just get it
9?
for you. Oh, you got the, yeah.
Looks
Okay.
like 9.
Yeah,
So
I
you're
was looking for a dock,
What
but
you got?
This is the floater.
yeah,
Yep.
pretty-
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
These aren't
Oh,
the exact
yeah.
ones, but
I know,
that's
I know.
2, 3, 4 on the new.
Sandy, let's
and then 5 on the finger.
Yeah, I didn't even talk.
Okay.
Yeah, never heard of
For a
Ballard.
total of 9 on upper.
I didn't know
Yep.
their official name until right now.
Yeah, I never heard.
Yeah,
Whoa,
How many
didn't
on
know
the lower?
that. They have them
I'll
like
give you a
on
count real quick.
pathways, like,
The lower
Rainbow at
James?
night.
Yep, Lower James is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Place somebody crashed into one of the plates.
4 new fixtures on Lower James.
Is that already
they're
priced?
relatively inexpensive if something happens.
That
Yeah.
is included in, so we broke
In that
out.
work?
Correct.
That's not in these numbers up here, this is all Upper James.
Nope, these are both, I'm sorry. So you've got the new docks, the first one is bollard lights on the new docks, so that's upper and lower for 7,700.
Oh, okay, upper and lower.
Yes, correct. And then bollard lights on the finger, the existing finger docks is broke out separate.
Okay.
So, the labor to install the lights on the new docks is included in the scope, original scope of work. So you're just paying for the,
Just for materials.
for the
essentially, it's
materials.
like
Okay. Okay, and then there's 6 lights for Riverwalk.
Yeah, and the Riverwalk electrical, just to explain that too, the Riverwalk electrical is the electrical contractor's, time and materials to do the installation. And it includes some structural adjustments to the existing Riverwalk so that those base plates can be mounted. So obviously it wasn't designed to have pole lights on, so it's doing some adjustments to the tree lumber to have a sturdy enough
Better base.
to put those lights on. So that's what the Riverwalk electrical is, both DG doing the structural and all of the new electrical connections that the contractor would complete.
and that DC scope of work would include replacing the deck boards. They have to pull back, I think it was like 12 foot of deck boards.
Yep.
To get to the structural supports, and then they would replace those new deck boards.
Yep.
In those areas.
So then looking at what you probably care more about is the contracts, where you are right now with the contracts. That's probably a big thing you want to look at. So the original contract amount was $3,790,049.50. What we're projecting right now, based on where we are, we're pretty close to being complete. We're 95% there right now. We're looking at contracts around $3,749,781.31. I don't know if you want to be that exact, but so that's where we're projecting right now. You may have a cost for that install of I'm just thinking of things that could come up. The install of that temporary gangway. They do a little bit of welding work on Upper James Street. The transition between the permanent fixed and the floater for that temporary, but can't think of too much else that could come up. So based on your original contract value and where we are projecting, there's about $50,000 below. That would be $50,000 less than the original contract value. Additional work is approximately $73,500. So the difference is around $23,500 is what you would have for installing the additional lights on the finger docks and doing the Riverwalk lights.
Now, is that something we can use from the contingency?
Yeah, so your current contingency is still at $370,000. You really haven't, all you've touched, I think, is like $9,000 so far. And that was for some extra work that you did, but, so that could be used, the contingency could be used to cover that $23,000.
What is the contingency?
The contingency is just built into the original borrowing in case unknowns come up. So they had more rock they had to take out, if the piles were deeper than what they anticipated. There were some unit item things that could go less, could go higher, depending on what's actually installed. So that's in there for unknowns that come up along the way.
Kind of like a savings account on our side, in case the unforeseen.
Yeah, the unknowns.
So this project started long before I got here. Is this grant funded? Was it a 50/50? Are we having to come up with the
So
money?
this would be loan, right? That's all loan.
Yeah, the contingency would be
Space.
loan funds,
More
the
borrowing.
grant funds,
With the ready contract, we pay 5 or 10% of the total,
5%.
5%.
Okay, so it's not,
5 million, we're paying 5%.
so one thing just to keep in mind that during the pandemic, everything went up.
yeah.
So there is additional loan that went above the 5% that, and I would have to rely on Thomas to tell us exactly, he's been keeping the books on that sort of stuff, but. So the loan amount is more because the contract's cost went up so much in 3 years, actually 4 years from when it started.
So this would be loan, your contingency is loan,
Correct.
all loan.
So we're not rushing out to spend it.
Correct.
No, I mean, so far the village has kept everything pretty close to the original contract amount. There really hasn't been much increase, and you've actually done more at the water plant and some extra things along the way.
I was down at the water plant the other day, because Pat is back, and I went to the door, and then I went to the window to knock the attention, and I'm standing there thinking to myself, oh my goodness, see through the window,
Yeah.
because you couldn't,
Oh, it's level.
it's 2 foot, what, 2
Yeah.
feet higher? Yeah.
So, initially with the Riverwalk, they never put any type of lighting down. And over the years, people have said, why don't you put some lighting, why don't you put some lighting? So it ended up with when this project finally got started, and we bought the lights, and then we realized that these big pole lights on the floaters, with the motion of the floaters, it would snap the poles. It just, you'd be constantly fixing them, replacing them.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was suggested the short ballard lights like Cape and other places, and utilize these lights along the Riverwalk. And then it was, how much more is it gonna cost us? So, is it worth $25,000 to utilize these 6 lights like the ones around the upper dock and put along the Riverwalk? They're not shooting out into the river. They're beautiful.
Essentially the same as what's on the upper and similar to the ones on the walkway.
Yeah. It's,
Scenic view.
I'm good with that.
last summer, went on a boat ride, local sand boat ride, down to Clayton, and the waterfront is all lit up. We come to back to Alex, and it is black.
Just the hotels on each side.
Just the hotels.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, where's the park? The couple of lights on up at the pavilion, you know exactly what it is, but it doesn't light up our waterfront. And the work that's done so far is just absolutely gorgeous.
And part of the thing is where the docks are, they're behind. So Clayton, they're not tucked. Everything, the Cape, they're not tucked. In Alex Bay, you got both docks tucked.
Kinda in
So
the bays.
not,
Yeah.
and you don't realize when you're going down, going down the river. You don't realize that that's a marina right there if you're out. If you don't know where you're going. The other side, it's all black. You get to the other side, and if you turn your head, you see the other. It's just black. Dark.
All right, well, I'll make a motion that we do the additional work that would include bollard lights on the new docks, bollard lights on the fingers, Riverwalk electrical.
So motion made by trustee Bowman, second by trustee Caputo to approve the light changes for the Riverwalk. and the bollard lights, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? With this, with the Ready project, there's a couple other things we need to discuss. With the upper dock completed as far as installation, I was talking with Tim yesterday while they were putting a new ramp in and everything. In order to have SNL come back, put the lights in, they're gonna have to go like every 6 feet and pull 2 or 3 of the composite decking so that they can fish the electrical through, right? And put in the base for the ballards that they're gonna connect to and run all the electricity, correct? And then that's from the fixed dock to the very end of the fingers. That's not gonna be a one-day event.
How long is it gonna take to do all that? Any idea?
I'd give them a week.
So
Do that work?
So, yesterday, or actually Sunday evening, we announced that the floaters and fingers were closed all day Monday so that the ramp can be installed. And it wasn't, but by 2 o'clock, the fixed dock was completely packed. I mean, we squeezed in every sea-doo, every jet ski we could squeeze in into the spaces where boats could, and we were telling people, it's gonna be a little bit, it's gonna be a little bit. And then finally the contractor says, give us 10, 15 minutes and we can work around them walking through.
You mean this was yesterday?
This was yesterday about 2:30. And at that point, there was probably 10 boats sitting in the fingers waiting for us to go, okay, you can come through. So, if we get to do this and pull things apart, so that the contractor can do it, and then people aren't walking through and stepping over holes and so forth, do we close them for a week? Or do we wait till September, if we can wait till after Labor Day and have them come in? Because after Labor Day, it really dies down.
Yeah, but are they gonna be here after Labor Day?
We can talk to the electrical contractor, that's who would be involved with this and.
Because that's what Tim
confirm,
said. He says, it might be better to wait until after Labor Day. That way we're not disrupting the summer flow.
Right, but we
And-
don't,
Sense if they can do it.
and we don't wanna pay more to have them come back.
Yeah, one thing with the electrical contractor, it's not as much for the mobilization. The stuff to bring in, it's not like, what DC had to bring in.
Barges and
Yeah, the equipment and.
equipment and so forth.
Materials
This
is a lot less.
This is coming in pickups and having all their tools with.
Yeah, but it also depends on what kind of jobs they have out
Yep.
that far.
So,
we can
Can we-
talk with
we can ask
electricians.
you guys to talk with Sean and find out with the summer situation versus waiting till September after Labor Day. It's, find out what they wanna do. I mean, what would be best?
Yeah, maybe you wanna consider that on your lower docks too, or.
Well, see, here's the thing. The lower dock is closed. So, we don't have to, because it's not like we're already open and have to do work. The lower dock is closed. So, we could just say, finish lower dock, it's close to the public. I would say by now, we're pretty close to being fully installed in the river.
Yeah, but if they're gonna come back, they're gonna wanna do it all.
Yeah, they
And then-
probably would, and, I guess the other thing is, Tim Maloney said today, it wasn't a matter of minutes. When they were finishing off, there was a boat ready to dock
At the lower?
and lower.
Yeah.
So,
You-
my guess, as soon as those are ready, people are gonna wanna use them.
We'll have to
they're
check.
installing the decking on the lower right now,
Yeah.
and
No,
then
but
when they
not just the decking,
The
the
whole
whole
thing.
unit.
Sounds like,
It's a brand new floater.
sounds like they're done, actually,
They would be.
yeah.
I mean, they
So
came
then
in,
the electricians have gotta come in and unscrew stuff,
And put the light,
To run
Yes.
run the
the,
wire.
yeah.
yeah.
that sounds kinda ass backwards.
I'm
Well-
a girl and I thought the same thing.
Well, it's, Montreal was contracted, cut the aluminum, weld it all together, put the decking on, staving and cleats, and here it is. And the poly floaters. And then our electrician is gonna put it where it should, these guys designed it to be.
It would be tough with all the, they can have the chases and everything ready to go, but, come in 40-foot sections, be tough to have all the electrical in place. So it takes the electrician a little bit of time, but I don't know if it'd be much faster for them if they tried to install it as the docks were actually being installed. Yeah, I don't know if there's much more efficient way of doing it, but I agree, it sounds
Backwards.
weird when they have to lift boards or decking.
We
Well, I
should,
think you really need to find out what it
When-
would cost if they do everything now, or if they come back and finish it all after
That's,
Labor Day.
that's the question.
and we need to see when we can have the lights by. I mean, if we're talking, if they can't get the lower lights, you know,
Oh,
that would
the
be-
Ballards
They
are on
can't.
order?
they are on order.
They were supposed to come in last week, we just haven't heard.
Okay.
It
May
might
not
not,
be a quick-
we might not have the lights until after September.
The other thing is the Riverwalk too. So when they do the Riverwalk, they have to pick boards up to do that work too, and that's for the structural members.
Yep.
So you may wanna consider all of this work as after Labor Day. The Riverwalk, I think, gets a lot of foot traffic and people are enjoying it, may wanna just wait until after the,
It's, what does SNL, they're out of where, Watertown?
They're out of, Colton.
Oh, up north, okay.
Well, the first question is, are the bollard lights going to be here? Second question is, if the bollard lights are here, what's it gonna cost us, if any, to wait till after Labor Day?
Mhm.
Same thing with Riverwalk? You wanna
And
wait?
lower,
Well, you would think they'd wanna do it all together.
yeah.
Easy questions we can ask the contractor.
Yeah, and I don't think for that, if they're like most contractors around, they've got so much work.
They're not
that
sitting on
they-
this.
yeah, they're not
I don't
waiting on
think they're
us. Somebody
sitting-
else will be very happy if they can get moved up.
Yeah.
I don't think they're sitting on these shops just twiddling their fingers, they're probably swamped, but it'd be nice to say, get them done, but,
But the disruption,
Oh, we would.
oh,
I think we're-
listen, we,
I think
which tree and
definitely
which
after
length
Labor
of
Day,
rope?
even after October first. Because you still get a lot of people out there in September, but ideally, not until after Labor Day.
And see, here's another thing is, they don't wanna put the benches on the docks, because if we put the benches on the dock, then that could be sitting on the boards they have to pull.
Yep,
Mhm.
yeah, you gotta find out
It's
prefer.
the two of them together saying, this is when it'd be best,
Yeah.
and this is how, it's just, like I say, so far, one last thing, on that new upper ramp, at the very end of it, everything is ADA compliant, but that very last diamond plate, it's like it should have been a little bit longer, because all of a sudden it's just, it's almost like this. if somebody could look at it, or
Mhm.
have Jim. It's just, wow, you got everything all ADA compliant, and then that very last piece,
Is it towards the fixed dock or towards the floaters? Not on,
it's on the floater.
it's on the floaters,
The
okay.
very last diamond plate
Yep,
coming from the fix to the floating dock.
yep.
It's almost like
Huh,
this.
yeah, we'll take a look at it.
And I didn't realize, I was told that the new ramp is gonna be wider, but it can't be wider because it still has to be ADA compliant, so that somebody in a wheelchair can
Use the
use
rails.
both railings to pull themselves along. So it's still,
5 foot
I.
between the rails.
Yeah, like 5 foot, yeah,
Might be in inches, but 5 foot.
5 foot or 4 foot 10 inches or something. It's something of that, everybody goes, should have been wider. No, it's gotta be ADA compliant. Well, if it's ADA compliant, that last piece just,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't look correct.
Yeah, take a look at it.
A wheelchair, I've been in many of them.
Yeah,
If I
and well,
sit in my wheelchair, it's gotta be this for me. Well, for anybody.
well, when you, if you really walk up, I can't do it too well,
If
but
you walk up, yeah.
if you're walking up, I mean, it's, whether you're walking or putting yourself in a wheelchair, you can still reach out and put both hands on the rails, like this.
Did you go down in a wheelchair and try it?
No, but I walked up there.
I'm sure
Should be
somebody,
a fairly
somebody along the
shallow
way figured that
grade
out.
change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay?
that's all I have.
The only other thing I just brought, it's a no-cost change order, or not change order, no-cost amendment to our services. It just includes, I can wait till everybody's got a copy before I start talking about it.
Drinking water.
Oh, sorry, Tom, you're supposed to use that. So, on this, I'll just explain what the items are. So, jumping to the description of modifications, this goes through what items were under and which ones are over. So the additional services are hourly and expenses. So if you don't spend as many hours on it, it reduces. If you spend more hours on it, obviously it would be an increase. So going through this, I think we're gonna have some savings on the RPR, Tim Maloney services. So that's decreasing. We've got some in there. It may decrease more depending on how much more Tim has to be out there to finish up things. The seeker was a slight increase, $30. Survey and base mapping, slight increase. Verification, $2,104 increase. The stormwater pollution prevention plan was a $10,000 decrease. Subsurface investigation, we thought initially we were gonna have to have subsurface work done near the wharf for the new piles to see what rock depths. We were able to do it, or do the work without having to do that. Permits, dealing with the Army Corps, Department of State, that was an increase of approximately $5,600. Hazardous material testing was a decrease. And then, so the last 4 items are some of the additional work items that have come up along the way. Back towards when the project began, and I know not everybody was involved at that time, we worked with DC Builders to do a design modification for the wharf that ended up helping save $70,000 plus in construction costs. So we worked with DC Builders on that and did a redesign, some modifications that made it easier for them, but you still ended up with the same end product. So that was to do that work, do the design plans, all the coordination was approximately $5,500. Upper James Street modifications, structural modifications. So back in 2010, portion of Upper James had been rebuilt, and there was a design drawing. Not sure if that was a record drawing, but it wasn't accurate. So there was a total redesign based on actually what was installed. That was approximately $11,000, and this will be adjusted exactly. It's just rounded slightly. It'll be adjusted based on the actual hours and expenses and that. But that's what that line item was for. Electrical design. So the electrical design includes, and this was actually mainly done by a consultant that did the electrical work. Initially, the Upper James Street dock, way back, the lights were going to be pedestal lights, way back when we started it. So we were just going to use the pedestal lights that came from Maddie. Pedestal lights are what you see on a lot of docks that have water and electric hookups. They come with a light, electric, everything, water connection. So initially, we looked at doing that. That's what the plan was.
I remember.
And then this line item includes.
Oh, wait, so it's just me and you that were here.
Yeah, I know.
That's funny.
That's
I remember.
4 years ago, so.
Yep.
Some changes along the way. So we switched to looking at pole lights. Pole lights went to bollard lights. Bollard lights went to having bollard lights on the finger docks. And this also includes additional design for the Riverwalk. So it's all of that electrical work that's been done since we started. And then the last item is the structural design, $1,500 for the structural design for the new pole lights on the Riverwalk. Overall, it's no cost, it's the same contract value. There's some things that are over. We were able to pick up all the additional items under the current contract, and there's no fee change.
Okay. Do you need a motion to sign this?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to allow the mayor to sign the amendment to owner-engineer agreement number 3, or amendment number 3.
I'll second it.
Motion by trustee Fulmer, second by trustee Demore, to allow the mayor to sign the amendment number 3. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I've got some of all the services if anyone wants it to. You're welcome to that too.
Thanks.
And this shows, so for the project, it was actually broken into James Street, oh, sorry. Just yell out, Judy. You usually do, right?
Yeah, come on.
So for this project, this is probably something that isn't realized. It was actually 3 separate projects. So it was James Street Docks, which was upper and lower. The Scenic View Wharf was a separate project. The water treatment plant was a separate project. So there's one contract, but the fees had to be split between those projects based on what was being done. And so the funding agencies were different. EFC funded the water treatment plant work. The DASNY, the Dorm Authority of the State of New York, funded the Scenic View Wharf and the James Street Docks. So that's why they had to have everything separate for the tracking purposes.
At the wharf, is everything done except for the lift?
Everything is done except for the lift and the railings for the lift.
Coming,
Across the bridge.
okay.
Yep. Tim Maloney thinks in the next 2.5 weeks they'll have the railings. They may work on the lift in the next week, getting that operational.
And at our end, once the lift is done and the railings are up, I would like a camera in the lift and cameras on the lift, because the little monsters we have, we know know are gonna mess with it, and we know more than likely who the little monsters are. So that's gonna be my recommendation once it's all done,
We'll have to look at ordering their cameras.
yeah.
Well, I was just thinking how, because my mind was right along the same lines as yours. What are gonna be the controls as to who can use this so that you don't have kids down there just going up and down and horsing around in it?
Yeah, that's a difficult part because it's the public access. It's
Yeah.
gonna have to be kept,
But-
someone's gonna have to keep track of it probably to monitor if that's happening, if somebody's abusing it.
But like, yeah, it's gonna have to be on our rounds, but like after October, whatever, 14th of Columbus Day, we can shut that down for the winter. And then still need cameras because the little monsters will be out and about. Okay, we're just, I mean, really?
I agree with
You
you.
got
There's
some
a lot of big
common,
monsters in this town.
I have more problems with small monsters. You know, that's my dilemma. They think they're cute and they're not.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll work that out.
Good. What else?
I think that's, we're working on, funding application. The deadline was moved to August 11th
For what?
for the WIA program, for
Okay.
the wastewater.
Sewer plant, okay.
Yep.
Okay, everybody go home tonight, say your prayers for the next month. You said August 11th?
August 11th is the due date,
So
yeah,
August
they
11th,
moved
we
it.
need that. Imagine if we had water and sewer happening at the same time.
Rather than dig and then dig.
Hmm?
Rather than dig and put it back and dig again, put it back.
And I know I have to go in there and look at the water plant plans that are sitting on Molly's window for Pat to look at. But when we do water sewer, the big global picture, is Walton Street on that list?
No, I don't think that, for water line replacements,
Yeah.
I'll have to check, I don't think it was.
What's creating all the issues on Walton?
Right over
Well,
the street.
No, down by
in front
the
of the
church.
church.
Oh, that's
Storm drain.
under drains, probably in that roadway.
It's what?
There's probably not
Storm
good
drain.
road base, and it probably gets water. Water does a lot of the heaving. That's what,
That's the problem there.
major problems, it's probably coming off that, rock
The
hill.
shelf.
Do you know, 2 years ago, remember? In front of the boardwalk, maybe it was longer than that. But there was a car parked in front of the boardwalk sign. And then there was a space. And then the driveway.
The undermining.
And there was a literal sinkhole there. And the back end of the car was like almost. And then when we looked, were you involved in that?
Yep.
No, it might
Did
have
I
been
look at it?
DPW.
With
I don't
Jared?
know.
Yeah.
But anyway.
We told you about it.
I think
Yeah, but I don't think
yeah,
you
I don't
came
know
to
if
see
I
it.
saw it.
Do you know there was 4 foot of nothing between the road and the ground?
It's like up by the skating rink a couple of years ago, remember? That was
That whole road.
almost the whole width
Sinkhole,
of Bolton.
yeah.
And you know, it's,
And guess who found that one? Me with the wife's car. It's like, holy crap.
and it's the same way in the old
We're driving along,
boardwalk,
all of a
40,
sudden the car just goes, poop.
it's in the parking lot, under that property I sold to.
Oh, yeah.
There was a
Comes
space.
across there?
It comes across
Yeah.
there, and
That
we
it
had to,
just washed out.
a couple of times, fill
One
in.
of those at the
But
Yeah.
when you look at it, and you really think about it, it's the
like-
whole
Yeah.
thing. 'Cause all my water
Look to it.
comes down off Cheney Circle and 38 Walton and goes right into that parking lot.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably the major problem right there.
So
is
that's
just
not
water
water line.
starting to heave, especially you see it right when the frost is coming out of the ground, right?
What do you, I mean,
Yeah.
there must be one fly in here.
It is.
Yeah, it's attacking me.
It's hitting every single one of us.
What do you do about that kind of thing if it's not the water? I was hoping it was the water sewer line replacement would fix that problem, but if it's not,
Probably have to take everything up and get some better drainage in that whole section.
from
Can that be,
church,
can that fall under sewer?
no. Storm drain,
Four of your,
no, storm drains, that's, wouldn't that be, I've seen something in my head for that. Is that under a consolidated funding application?
They have, culvert replacements.
But isn't there something too for storm drain, when I just looked at that?
There may be.
I mean, you're talking Church, at least all the way to Holland, is that.
Is there any, catch basins along there or anything of drainage?
I can't picture any.
There's,
You mean there's grates in the ground, but it all goes underneath 41 Walton, it goes under the parking lot.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it would be essentially rebuilding that section.
I mean, it's sitting right on bedrock right there, there is nothing there.
Right, there's
The
nothing.
water
but-
pipe sits right on the bedrock and.
Yeah, so the water is coming down, going eroding what's between the road and the bed. But it literally, when he and I were there, who climbed in the hole? Was it Jarrett? Well, like, there was literally in this
was
length
it
of.
Jared back then? It was,
Ooh, you wasn't up?
no,
No,
it
it
was, Brewster.
Maybe Brewster got in the hole, but it might have been the size that, you could still see it. It's beginning to sink. Is it where in front of the sign, you'll see there's a place, where they had a metal plate there for a while, but that place is beginning to sink.
It's sinking again?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So is that something, it's too late to consolidate a funding application, when is that, the 28th? Friday?
So there's some the 28th and then some got moved to the 11th.
Well, does this fall under anything?
I'll take a look, I'll see if there's
Let
any
us
road
know.
reconstruction.
Imagine if we can get some, couple $1 million to fix
Yeah,
Walton from Church to Holland. What do people complain about when they come to the bay?
Out there. Well,
Walton Street.
mhm. Yeah, water does a lot of,
damage.
damage,
A lot of force.
yeah, especially when you get frost and
Yeah.
freezing and water together.
Well, you should see it when it's really, really,
Right.
really raining, coming
They
off
put
the
these
hill.
today.
It's crazy.
All right, I gotta go, sorry.
Okay, see you later, thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
Okay, see if we can look into that.
Okay.
Yeah, that,
Yeah, I thought that was water sewer, but it's not. That's drainage.
but that could do a lot of damage to a vehicle.
Cause it could go, you're just driving down, I'd never go down, I hardly ever go down that street now.
Good.
And all the weight, think of all the weight that goes over there. You know, everybody's going to Uncle Sam's and they're going over there.
Well, and if it goes under 41 Walton's parking lot, you know it goes under Ronnie's parking
Yeah, oh
lot.
yeah.
Good. All right, so we got
I was
light.
so excited about CA. I was really hoping that we could qualify for something.
We looked into the parking garage question too, and, really no program set up for that.
Someday, somewhere.
Okay, good. We got
That'd be a big project.
Ballard Light, Riverwalk. When's did the electric? You got your form signed? What else? We're moving, yeah, it's, we need to find out when is gonna be best to do all this, because, again, if we have to shut down in the middle of the summer, it's like, this is,
Labor Day's just 5 weeks away.
It depends on-
It's just around the corner,
yeah,
not that far
Yeah,
off
'cause once the
anymore.
kids,
Don't say
even
that.
the
I
end of
know,
August,
I
when
know.
the kids go back to school, that, during the weekdays, it's,
Well, the closer, well, let's see when the lights come in.
Yeah.
The closer we get, you know, if they say it's 3 weeks out, you're 2
Then
weeks
wait.
from
Yeah,
Labor
that's-
Day, then
Yeah.
yeah.
points me out,
No
right?
decision, yeah.
Yeah, if everything's here and they're ready,
Then we
and.
follow up.
If you sign that, then I'll sign another one for the village.
but two?
Yeah, I'll keep one, and then if you wanna
One for
keep
Molly.
one for Molly.
Okay, but you keep looking for something for a storm drain
Mhm.
and parking garage.
Yeah, definitely, we'll take a look. Yeah, that's almost a reconstruction.
Come on,
Well,
someday
that's
somebody will have.
Street reconstruction,
Yeah,
storm
street
drainage.
recon. And parking garage, what would that be under? I don't know. I was hoping that would go for, under New York Forward DRI, but I can agree. Can you imagine a 3-story parking deck up in the Empire parking lot that we share with the hospital?
Oh, well.
Be nice.
Okay, that was easy. Look at that. It took us longer to arrange this meeting than it actually did
I
for the
know.
meeting.
I think we're gonna take a walk, right? Walk around town?
Yeah, if anybody wants to go check out.
I'll come with you. I haven't,
Floating docks yet.
Motion
so-
to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
You guys go for it.
All in favor?
Aye. Mike's good.